Boo! Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia. So it is December and it is the gift giving month. And so, you know, if you're looking for ideas, check out my channel. I've got tons and tons of ideas for cute gifts. So, but in this video, I'm going to show you how I made a 20-ounce tumbler using these cute gnomes. So I am going to do a print and cut in this video. I am doing a crackle technique that is different than I normally do. And I am using a new makeup brush from the Dollar Tree to see how it spreads out. I've seen other people use it. So if you're interested to see what I came up with, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Guys, so I have a 20-ounce from Maker Flow, and I have sanded this and spray painted it this red and green. I know it looks super funky. Trust the process. It'll be fine, I promise you. So it doesn't have to be super neat. Just get your red and your green in. All right, so I have tack-it over and over, Aleene's tack-it over and over, and I just put a dollop in there and I sprayed it with, I gave it 2 squirts of water. To water it down. A lot of times I don't water it down, but because this is a bigger cup, I am watering it down. And I'm using a Wet n Wild brush from the Dollar Tree. I have never used this before. I've seen people use it, so I wanted to give it a go. So this is first time trying this brush, and ooh, I like it. So it goes on nice and smooth, which is what we want. We want our tack-it to go on nice and smooth, right? We don't want a whole lot of streaks and we don't want big brush strokes. So that is going on lovely. I like it. All right, I think I will continue to use this, you know, because sometimes you try things and it just doesn't work out nicely for you. But this is beautiful. So I will definitely use this again and continue to use it. So don't forget to get your bottom. I'm going to dip this in. And normally I only do this with 1 coat, like when I do my tack-it over and over with 1 coat, because generally I'm using full strength. But because I watered this down, I think I am going to give it 2 coats just to make sure it's as tacky as I need it to be. And so I'm going to let this dry for 10 minutes or however long it takes, because I am going to speed this process up with a heat gun. You can speed it up with a blow dryer. And then I'm going to put a 2nd coat on, and then I'm going to come back to apply my glitter. All right, so my tack-it is dry, and the reason why I know it's dry is because when it goes on, it is white, and when it dries, it is clear. And I did do 2 coats of the tack-it over and over on this to make sure I got the, the tackiness that I wanted. So now I am taking this super fine glitter called Fresh Snow by Glitter Makes It. And those of you who follow me know I use this a lot. It is a very versatile glitter. It is a nice fine cut, and it gives off, it is white, but it is translucent. I think that's the right word. So you can see the colors coming through underneath. And this has a hint of gold, and that's what I'm looking for this cup, because it's a Christmas cup. So I'm going to do a full glitter dump on this. I'm going to tap off the excess, and then I'm going to go ahead and start rubbing this down. And so if you're not familiar with the tack-it method, what you're doing is you're varnishing this glitter down so it lays nice and flat. You're going to see more of the color underneath come through, and you're going to see any of the color shifts that this, that a white glitter is that you're using is going to give off. And then in this case, if you do it under over a white base, it comes out opalescent. If you do it over a black base, it is a green hue, and with this it is a gold hue. So this is a really, really great glitter to use and to have in your arsenal. So you can varnish this down with your hand. You can do it with parchment paper, you can do it with a gloved hand, you can do it with a silicone brush, and save the glitter. Just did a crackle cup. and she did it with tack-it, just regular tack-it in the brown bottle, and she let it dry. Now anytime I've done a crackle in the past, I've always done it with the white Elmer's glue, and while it was still wet, I went over it with my white paint, or whatever color paint you're going to use, and then I dried it that way. She let the glue dry and then went over with her white paint, and it still crackled. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to let this Elmer's dry, and then I am going to do my white paint, and I am going to see if it crackles, because this is not the way I've been doing it. So again, something new. So new brush, new technique for me, and I'm going to share the results with you. All right, so I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I'm just applying the rest of my Elmer's glue. I am putting kind of a thick coat on there. From when I did my other crackle cups, I usually do a fairly thick coat. So I'm doing this the same thing here, because the premise is that the thicker coats give you wider cracks, and the thinner coats give you thinner cracks. And so as I was putting it on, I got this weird texture thing. I thought it was kind of cool, so I left it. And then I'm going to let it hang dry for however long it takes. All right, the Elmer's glue is dry. It took a little time, and I actually took a heat gun to it to heat it, to speed it up. So now that it is dry, I'm going to take that same makeup brush, which I keep cleaning over and over to reuse, and I am using white apple barrel paint and acrylic paint, white apple barrel acrylic paint, yes, that's it. And I'm applying a nice thick coat over this dried Elmer's glue, and I am doing a one direction coat. So I'm not going back and forth, I'm just going down the cup in one direction. That's how I've always done it with the other crackle cups, and it's been working for me, so I just keep doing the same thing. So once I'm done applying this paint, making sure you get your bottom too, you can go right into bringing your heat gun or blow dryer to it to start the crackling. And so when it starts to dry is when the crackling starts to happen. This process takes a little bit, so I am just going to put on some music and you can watch the magic happen. All right, so two things I'm going to talk about here. One is how I size and place my graphics on my cup. So what I generally do is I measure my cup, and then I make basically a template on my Cricut Design Space. And so my cup is 6.5. Make sure you unlock your block. It is 6.5 high, and the fattest part of it is 11. So I'm going to go with the skinniest part, which is 10. Then this way, if I have a little more room, that's better. So I don't want it to be, I don't want them to print out and be too, and to not fit. So we're going to send this to back, and then I'm going to, then I'm going to arrange my graphics around based on this template. And then the font that I use is called Wimp Stars Demo. And I think I got that from 1001 Fonts. I don't know, I'll have to look it up and I'll link it below in the description. So this is where we're gonna do our print and cut. So if you're not familiar with how to do a print and cut, I've only been able to make it work with printable vinyl. I've not been able to make the print and cut work for anything else other than the printable vinyl. And that's what I'm cutting these out on. So you're gonna hit your make it. Your little nomies are gonna come up here. You're gonna hit continue. You're gonna send it to the printer, and you're gonna, I always take off the bleed, and then I always hit the system dialog box, because when I go to hit the print, or when you go to hit the print, your printer's gonna come up. In your preferences is where you can hit, you know, put your paper type and your quality. I always put clear matte inkjet papers and the best quality, and I'm not actually gonna print it. And then next you're gonna select your printable vinyl. And then on your Cricut, you're going to feed your paper through, and you're going to hit that C button, and it's going to cut out. Make sure that you line your paper up on your mat, your cutting mat, exactly. But no matter how many times I do this, it seems to cut off just enough to be a pain in the butt. Only it was okay for this one. It worked out because the background was white, so it blended and it didn't matter. So you may have to do some trimming. So that's how you do a print and cut, and that's how I do my design space. So if you have any questions, just put them in the comments below, but I think I've covered everything. All right, guys, so this dried overnight. I put a coat of epoxy on, and you know, I like it, but I would want the crackles to be bigger. Let me turn my light on. Oh, there we go. My crackles to be bigger so that you can see more of the background, but it's still cute. So, so I figured I would do, I'm kind of winging this cup, guys. So I have these gnomes that I got from Creative Fabrica. They're super cute. I'm going to put them on the cup with Gnomey Christmas. So I'm actually going to place this first because I printed these a little bit big, but I don't want to shrink them down because I like the size of them. So I'm just going to put this up higher. And I just did straight red. This is Oracle 651. Nothing fancy. I did the font I used. I wanted a fun font. I didn't want anything cursive or, you know, I wanted something fun. And so this one's called Wimp Stars Demo. I have no idea where I got it, but I will try to look it up and link it down below. And then I am going to start placing my gnomies. So these gnomes I picked out because they were fairly simple to do a print and cut on printable vinyl. You know, printable vinyl is such a pain, guys. It really is. That's why I prefer, I hate using water slide, but I hate printable vinyl more. And it's super delicate. It rips really easy. And it doesn't always cut perfectly nice, but you see it's like kind of caught right there. I'm just going to tug it out a little bit. And then the print and cut function, sometimes, you know, it's off. Like I had this perfectly lined up. Let me see if I can trim this a little tiny bit. It's kind of late to be trimming it out. You know what? I'm going to leave it because it's got a white background. So I'm going to place this so that the ball is up in here. It's not like crazy covering it. All right, there we go. And then I got two more here. I love her because she's got gray hair like me. And my gray hair don't care. Started getting gray hair when I was actually a teen. And I finally gave up on dyeing it a couple of years ago because it got expensive and it was frying my hair. So I said, you know what, I'm done. Just gonna roll with it. Roll with it. All right, and I'm gonna get her here. Put her here, sorry, not get her. Put her here. See, the white doesn't really matter because it's white background, so this is working out really, really well. All right, and the last one. I just love Creative Fabrica. There's so many designs. I'm like, okay, Christmas gnome. And like all these things popped up and I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm just paying one low monthly fee to have access to all of these. I'm gonna tug this out. There we go. All right. And we're gonna just line her up right here. Oh my God, this is so cute. All right, so what I'm gonna do is pop this back on the turner and I'm gonna put a coat of epoxy on. I'm gonna show you that because I'm gonna sprinkle some of this holiday cheer at the bottom. This is one of the new releases for Glitter Makes It, and it's got green and white and red in it, but it's a fine glitter, and that's what I wanted for this. I didn't feel like dealing with chunky glitter because you know what? I love chunky glitter, but it's such a pain to deal with sometimes. All right, be back when I'm on my turner. All right, so I've mixed up 20 mLs of epoxy, and you can use whatever. This is the first coat, so you can use a quick set epoxy or you can use your regular epoxy. It's up to you, whatever you want to use. I mixed in a teeny tiny little bit of ultra fine shimmer by Glitter Makes It, of course, and just to give it a hint of shimmer. I didn't want it to be too much. I wanted it to be subtle, but I wanted it to be there. And so I'm mixing that up I'm putting that on the cup. Now, I didn't want to go more than 20 mLs because I'm going to put that holiday cheer on the bottom. So it's going to look a little kind of like grass, and it's going to give it some extra sparkle. But if you put too much epoxy on, what'll happen is the glitter will travel up the cup, and I don't want that. You know, I want it to like be like up to the Nomi's feet, and I want it to like even maybe cover a little bit, but I don't want it to go any higher than that. So that's why I did the 20 mLs. And I did check on it 10 minutes later, and it had traveled up a little bit further than I wanted it to. So I did kind of push it back down with a gloved finger, and it stayed, and it worked out pretty well. And then once I was done with this, I put on another coat of 20 mLs, sanded it all down really good, put a third and final coat on. So yeah, it took 3 final coats because of that glitter. And then just remember, after you put your epoxy on, to torch with a kitchen torch to pop all those bubbles. And this cup is done, and I will be ready for my remarks. All right, she is done. Look how super cute this is. Okay, I am obsessed with this cup, and you know, I think if I keep this cup, my husband's going to commit me, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I really, you know, I started this cup and not really sure what the end result was going to be, but as it came all together, I really, really just liked the way it came out. I would have liked the crackles to be a little bit thicker, so maybe I might play around with that, or I'm sorry, the cracks to be wider so that you can see more of the underneath. But you know what? Maybe it's just subtle enough. It's just perfectly subtle. So it didn't take away from these absolutely adorable gnomes. I love these gnomes on this cup with this glitter. I am so happy you guys stuck around to the end to see the results. And so please make sure you give me a big old thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. That helps me out. Share, comment. I love to hear your feedback. Also, don't forget to check out my Facebook pages. I have my own personal page, and then we have the GMI Superstars page. That's where I love to see you share your ideas and things you came up with, and your inspirations from my videos as well. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, and I will see you all next time. Bye.